Letitia James launches yet another lawsuit against Trump. She loves getting Trump in court. Will she succeed? I doubt it, because now everyone knows that she's a fraud, or no one is really believing this is anything but political. But she has to do her job and try to put a drag on the man. Welcome to the Doug TenNapel channel. This is where the happy patriots are. I got the whole article right here on Newsweek with limited commentary. Here we go. Letitia James hits Donald Trump with a new lawsuit. New York Attorney Letitia James is leading a coalition of Democratic state attorneys. Yeah, duh. Democratic state attorneys. I thought they might be Republican, in suing the Trump administration to stop it from cutting off access to more than $1 billion in funding to address the long-term effects of COVID-19 pandemic on K through 12 students. So this was a bunch of funding that the government flooded into the schools. Mostly they're going to be to benefit Democrats during COVID. This is the Biden administration greenlit this money and promised it to be available through 2026. And Trump just said, look, this pandemic's over. There's no reason. And then the Democrats go, no, well, now it's for long COVID, So they keep wanting their reasons to keep their funding, and Trump cut it off. Letitia James and a bunch of state attorney generals, which would be all from liberal Democrat states, blue states, came out against him. Why it matters. The Department of Education notified states on March 28th that it had rescinded access to funds under programs enacted as part of the American Rescue Plan Act. Under former Democrat President Joe Biden, the department had previously said that the states could access the funds through March of 2026. So he was promising them payouts well beyond his presidency. He probably thought he'd still be president in 2026. And then reality gave Joe Biden a surprise and gave all of us a little present, a little happy time. President Donald Trump signed an executive order last month calling for the dismantling of the Department of Education. The department, along with other federal agencies, has moved to aggressively cut federal spending by canceling contracts and grants, sparking legal challenges. So this is kind of double good news. Letitia James, first they were mad that Trump stopped giving this free COVID aid money to schools. And then he goes, how about I remove the Department of Education while we're at it? So that'll keep them on their toes. What to know, the lawsuit filed in federal court in Manhattan. So what's a court in Manhattan going to be peopled with, everybody? You can tell me in the chat below. What will a Manhattan court, judge, jury, executioner, what party will they all be? Let me know in the comments. On Thursday, alleges that the Trump administration suddenly reversal violates the Administrative Procedures Act. The end of the COVID-19 pandemic is not a lawful basis to rescind the prior extension approval. So that's what the Administrative Procedures Act is. It's made to protect administrative procedures, probably from a previous administration, unless there's a lawful basis. So they said there's not a lawful basis, and therefore keep that COVID money coming, even though COVID, it's not around in schools anymore, or not that kind of a problem. The lawsuit says that this reversal means state that the plan on funding will face budget shortfalls. Again, good. You want to starve those Democrat institutions of their money. It says that states had earmarked funds to pay for repairs and improvements to school ventilation programs and tutoring for students back when they had to be locked down and all that. And the school ventilation is supposed to screen out a virus. Some states also plan to use funds to pay for education and care programs for homeless students. I'll translate that for you. Illegal alien students, homeless students, according to the lawsuit. If the recession action is not vacated and the approved extensions are not reinstated, key programs and services that address ongoing and emerging needs of plaintiffs, students, and local school districts to combat the long-term effects of the pandemic will have to be dissolved or disbanded, the lawsuit said. I thought that was the whole point, is to dissolve or disband the funding of aid to the long term effects of the pandemic. Guys, it's 2025. Okay. You got emergency money back in the day. I can almost understand emergency money when everyone was under a delusion. We're not under a delusion now. Quote, state employees and contractors have been and will continue to be dismissed from their roles along with the employees of businesses providing academic and other services in schools. The result of ED's recession is a massive, unexpected funding gap that is causing serious harm to the public, cutting off vital education services, all to the detriment of the students whom Congress intended to benefit. There you go. Now, the other plaintiffs joining Letitia James in the lawsuit are attorneys general from Arizona, Democrat AG, California, Democrat AG, District of Columbia, DC, definitely a Democrat, Delaware, Hawaii, Illinois, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, New Jersey, New Mexico, Nevada, Oregon, and Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. So, all Democrats. This is politics, guys. It's just politics. This has nothing to do with science. This has nothing to do with COVID or funding or helping schools. These are Democrats. Okay, now I don't know what the procedure is going to be in the courts, but let's keep going. Letitia James said in a statement, the Trump administration's latest attack on our schools will hurt our most vulnerable students and make it harder for them to thrive. Again, no specifics in that statement whatsoever. Nothing specific, probably nothing true. Cutting school systems access to vital resources that our students and teachers rely on as outrageous and illegal. As a proud graduate of New York public schools, I will continue to use every tool at my disposal to fight for our schools and make sure every child has access to quality education. Okay, that's all just agitprop. That's normal boilerplate stuff that a Democrat says. So, not, as far as her comment goes, I'm glad they put that in the article, but that's all you're going to get from her. She wrote on X. Now, this might be a little spicier at least. Quote, my office is leading a coalition to sue Trump and stop him from trying to cut access to hundreds of millions of dollars in funding that supports low income. Now, low income, does COVID only hit the low income? What about the rich kids that need that package? And unhoused students and the long term effects the pandemic had on our kids. Okay. Are you guys buying any of this? I'm trying to show some kind of understanding and I just don't get it at all. Pennsylvania Josh Shapiro said in a statement, quote, Congress and the federal government made a commitment to our students and school districts across Pennsylvania, started construction to make schools safer. That would be the vents that they could be in the middle of building, delivered supplies to students, and invested to create more opportunity for our kids based on the commitment. And now the Trump administration's trying to renege on its commitments to our kids and leave Pennsylvania taxpayers holding the bag. Every Pennsylvania student deserves the freedom to chart their own course and the opportunity to succeed. I'm taking action to preserve that freedom and to ensure no Pennsylvania student is harmed by the government's decision to go back on its word. And on that happy note, here's Linda McMahon on ending the Department of Education. That's all good news. She says extending the deadlines for COVID-related grants, which are in fact taxpayer funds, that's you and me, years after the COVID pandemic ended, is not consistent with the department's priorities and thus not a worthwhile exercise of its discretion. What's next? Letitia James and the plaintiffs are seeking a court order to block Trump administration from cutting off access to the funds. And so far, all of those court orders against Trump have been working back in his favor when he appeals them and pushes back. If they go to a higher court, as soon as they get out of the Democrat district and they go to a normal judge, Trump wins because he does have this executive order. We're going to find out. We'll follow this lawsuit. But Letitia James rears her head to breathe a little fire. Hey, don't forget to comment, give us a subscribe. That really helps us out a lot. We're trying to get up to about 70,000 subs. And You guys all help. You guys are great members of my audience. Thank you for watching. God bless you all. I'm Doug in exile.